Lost Records' Bloomin' Rage's release is quickly approaching, and with the release of any new DONTNOD title, it's time for me to come on here and do what I do best, crackpot theories. I've got a wild one for you today. What if I told you that the new protagonist of Lost Records' Bloomin' Rage might just be related to a fan favourite character from a Life is Strange game? Well, that's exactly what I'm about to tell you, or at least to try to convince you of. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Please note that there may be some mild plot spoilers for Life is Strange games as well as Lost Records ahead. You've been warned. This is Swann Holloway. She's the protagonist of Bloomin' Rage. DONTNOD describes her as a loner who loves movies and animals and spends most of her time filming Velvet Cove with her camcorder. More importantly to the topic of this video, Swann looks extremely similar to Life is Strange 2's Brody, who we met all the way back in episode 1 at the petrol station. We may not have much content of Swann so far, but in all marketing materials, she shares a striking resemblance to Brody. They've got very similar builds and facial structures, the same eye colour, and very similar hair colours. Sure, on its own, this means nothing. Swann and Brody may just happen to look similar. But this goes deeper. They both share a surname. Swann and Brody both share the name Holloway, spelled the exact same way in both Life is Strange 2 and Lost Records' Bloomin' Rage. From my memory, there are no other characters who share this similarity across all of the Life is Strange games, even for minor characters. There are no other characters with the surname Price, Diaz, Caulfield, Gingrich, Chen, or Erickson who aren't directly related to the main cast. This is the first instance in which we've had two named characters sharing a surname while seeming completely separate. DONTNOD are very intentional writers. They're well known for slipping tiny details into their games and promotional material, and we know that they've likely got full creative license over the marketing for Lost Records. Hell, they teased David Madsen being in the 5th episode of Life is Strange 2 through his handwriting being used in the episode prior. Is it really so far-fetched to suggest that they'd link these two characters somehow? But wait, Lost Records and Life is Strange 2 take place over 20 years apart, I hear you saying. And you're right. Bloomin' Rage takes place in the summer of 1995, while Life is Strange 2 takes place 21 years later, in 2016. I think this rules out any possibility of Swann being Brody's mother, as he very likely would have already been born by the events of Lost Records. Brody looks to be in his late 20s, early 30s by the time of the story. The age gap is just too big. However, that doesn't completely void the theory that they're related somehow. By this time, if we assume Swann is around 18 years old, she would be around 40 in 2016, about 10 years older than Brody. It's not completely out of the realm of possibility for her to be Brody's sister or even his cousin. If this is the case, we could potentially see references to Brody as a young child in Bloomin' Rage. Perhaps Brody was even inspired by Swann, who seemed to enjoy journaling her life experience, just as Brody goes on to do in Life is Strange 2. But hang on, isn't Brody from Utah? Lost Records takes place in Michigan. This is absolutely true, and it would dismantle my theory if it weren't for the Lo-Fi Summer trailer. Recently, DONTNOD released the second trailer for Bloomin' Rage, which gave us a glimpse into the world from Swann's eyes. One of the key points from the trailer is that Swann is moving away from her home in Velvet Cove very soon. She never specifies why, but what if she's moving away with her family? This was a huge plot point for Max in the original Life is Strange, and given Swann's obvious parallels with Max, it isn't too far-fetched to suggest that her family could be moving to Utah possibly for a new job, or even just a change of scenery. While it's equally possible that Swann could be moving for her own reasons, such as university or new opportunities, she seems like she has a lot of love in her heart for Velvet Cove and her friends, and it's not something she seems like she'd be willing to let go of easily. She's attempting to document all of her last moments in town, not something you'd do if you had a good reason for wanting to leave. There's a tinge of sadness to her voice when she says, "Goodbye, Velvet Cove, I'll soon be flying away too." She sounds very forlorn and melancholic. This theory gains even more traction when you remember that Brody describes his family as having money, but no soul. It could be that the Holloway family were moving for economic prosperity, and maybe disregarded Swann's existing connections and ambitions. I don't exactly see her moving to Utah for her own reasons, it's not like there's much there. If we assume that the Holloway family moved from Velvet Cove to Utah while Brody was still young, it would make sense for him to connect his core identity to Utah. He never mentions being from anywhere else, just that his mother is fighting a losing battle against cancer there and his car registration plate is from the state. We don't know Swann's fate at the end of Lost Records. The only girl we've seen in present day so far is Autumn, but regardless, it's not too far-fetched to suggest that she could still be at least distantly connected to Brody and his family. But of course, the theory does have its flaws. DONTNOD no longer owns the rights to Life is Strange. As of now, it seems that all future installments of the game will go directly through Deck 9 and Square Enix. Would DONTNOD even have the rights to Brody's character? I highly doubt they could feature Brody directly as he appears in Life is Strange 2, however, there's a certain grey area in which they could imply his existence or make references to his character. They've always enjoyed sneaking Life is Strange references into their games, such as when they did it in Tell Me Why. If DONTNOD are just doing this for reference's sake, it may be that Swann's name itself is just that, a reference, a callback to their Life is Strange game. Maybe nobody resembling Brody is even mentioned throughout the entirety of the game, and Swann's surname being the same is just a coincidence or a nod to Brody's legacy given that they're similar characters. It could be that DONTNOD always wanted to expand on Brody's character but never got the opportunity, so Swann might be their way of incorporating their old ideas into something new and exciting. It would certainly explain the myriad of similarities between the two characters personality-wise. We're just theory crafting here, and I don't think anybody would hold it against DONTNOD if this wasn't anything more than a throwaway reference. Just a nice way to remember our favourite online travelling journalist. However, given the studio's track record with small details actually being huge references, I wouldn't put it past them to give a nod to the legacy of Life is Strange 2, especially considering Square Enix largely brushes the game under the rug, and the game's devs seem pretty sad that the game was always underappreciated by that crowd. Thank you so much for watching this video. It's a little shorter than my other ones, but I just thought after the last video I made about the current controversy at Deck 9, I wanted to make an uplifting video about DONTNOD's upcoming project. However, if you haven't seen that video already, you should definitely go and check it out. Most people who watch my videos aren't subscribed to me, and it would make the world of difference if you could like this video and subscribe for more videos like this. Let me know what you think of this theory in the comments below. Are Swann and Brody related, or is this just a throwaway reference? Let me know. I enjoy reading all of your comments, and I even use some of them as inspiration for my future videos. Alternatively, come and chat in my Discord server. Link will be in the description. If you'd like to show your support in a monetary form, there'll be a link to my Patreon down in the description. Every little helps. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and remember, this is QQ, and if you find this video, it's because I'm dead. Bye!